And I think just coming from a long weekend, I think it's important for us to get the motivation we need to succeed this week. So, guys, let's actually get into our Motivational Monday segment with Poloko. Let's take a look.
All right. Thank you very much for having me on Monday Motivation, and a good evening to the hosts. And a special shout out as well to the regular Monday Motivation go-to person, who is Mr. Jabuzwane, who does an incredible job. And it's a privilege for me to be here. I'm hoping that I can do justice in his absence. I'm hoping that whatever it is that I have to bring to you is of great value and substance. So thank you very much for having me. And knowing that I only have about 10 minutes and I do tend to go a little bit longer than I should, I'm just going to start right now and jump straight into it. We are coming off of a long weekend. And by the way, it would be wrong for me to not start off by saying Happy Women's Month to all of the lovely women who literally carry us. I know that it is a couple of days late, but it is still Women's Month. So happy Women's Month to all of you. Now, I want to jump straight into our Monday motivation. I want to talk to us about the keeping the momentum. And at this point of the year, a lot of people start trailing a little slower. And the reason is because some people are getting tired. Another reason would be because some people set goals at the beginning of the year and they haven't taken steps towards those goals. Some people had great expectations and encountered a lot of disappointments along the way. So it's really important for us to start the year off with, rather not start the year off, but get that kickstart in the middle of the year that allows us to keep on going, that renews our energy, and we are able to carry the same mindset that we had in the beginning of the year. One of the criticisms that I get in what I do, which is motivational speaking, right? Motivational speaking is a part of it. And wherever I go, I will always find somebody who says motivational speaking is not real. Once people leave, they forget. And once people leave, they don't do what they do. You don't need motivation, you need discipline. But I want to start off by saying this. It's important to understand what motivation is, because this is Monday motivation. And motivation is nothing more than a reason to do something. Right? I'm going to repeat that again. It's a reason to do something. It is not the thing that's going to carry you through the hard days, but it is a reason to do something. Do you need discipline? Do you need motivation? It shouldn't even be an argument. There has to be an understanding that I need discipline as much as I need motivation, because motive, which is the root word of motivation, motive is the reason for why I do something. When a crime is committed, we look for the person with a motive because they are the ones who are most likely to have committed the action of that crime. So in the same way in our lives, we have to understand this. And that's why I love platforms that can give people concepts such as Monday motivation, because you understand that every single week you need to be reminded of a reason to keep on going. So with that being said, I want to talk to you about how it is that we carry ourselves through the rest of this year. We are more than halfway through the year, and I know that at this time, some people are tired, some people are disappointed, and some people have already just decided that we'll just try again next year. We'll just try again next year, so let's just leave it alone. But I would like to encourage you that if you still have breath in you, this year can still become what you hoped it would be. Yes, there may have been some disappointments. Yes, some things may not have went your way. And you know what? Maybe you've been having a good year, but you're just feeling a little tired, and you are wondering, how is it that I will keep on going? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna summarize a talk that I would usually give in an hour and a half, and I'm gonna summarize it into these 10 minutes, then try my best to make sure that I get every single point across to you. So I've got the 5 different words that I want to share with you, and all of them begin with P. All of them begin with P. And I'm hoping that a lot of this, wherever you are, write it down. Whenever we are in the room with people, we always love to hear a pen that's going across the page or some thumbs tapping on the phone, just to make sure that you catch everything that you hear. So the first word I want to give you in keeping the momentum, or rather for some people, generating that momentum to keep going and finish the year stronger than you started, that first word is possibilities. Possibilities. A possibility is a very interesting word because it makes us think about what is not yet, but what can be. And the question is, what could happen? I may not know it to the T, but what could happen if I commit myself to this thing that I said I will be doing? What could happen? What could be the result if I keep on going, if I don't give up? What could be the result if I take a course or start that business or give myself into that relationship? What could be the result? It's a very important question. And I think for a lot of people, what happens is we rob ourselves of possibilities because we never get to ask ourselves, what is it that could happen? Because the truth is, none of us truly know what is possible. And what I've learned about a human mind, what I've learned about the human mind is that we hardly get even to the edge of our potential. We hardly get there. And so the idea is to keep on encouraging myself, to keep on stretching myself. I like to tell the story for people who know me. Wherever I go, I tell the story that when I was a kid, when I was 8 years old, 7 years old, my biggest dream was to be a taxi driver. And the reason I wanted to be a taxi driver when I was a kid was because I lived in a village and the only way to get to town was through a taxi. And so I thought about the fact that taxi drivers get to go to town every single day. I didn't know that there were people who actually live in town. I thought all of us just go to town and go back home. I had no idea that some people lived in town. Much more, I had no idea that every single house can have its own car where the people can drive out and go to town because it was a foreign idea to me. It was a foreign concept. And so those are the possibilities that I had in my mind when I was a kid. But as you go out there and expose yourself, as you get to learn, as you get to sit with people, have conversations. Today we have the internet where you can go online and see what's truly possible, what people have and how they live. All of a sudden I realized that the world is for the having. And those who can dare to dream boldly enough can have it. And it's a fascinating idea to me. So the first word is possibilities, and the second word is preparation. Preparation. It's all good and well to talk about possibilities, but if we don't talk about the preparation that comes once we know what the possibilities are, once we start to dream, we just might miss it. I can tell you right now that in my life, I can count many different occasions where I missed out on an opportunity that I was waiting for, that I was praying, hoping for, simply because I was not prepared. A better way to put this to you might be in the concept of a farmer. Imagine for a moment, if you would, the idea of a farmer who was expecting rain, who was praying for rain. And if they did not work their soil, if they did not prepare the ground, rain can become an inconvenience or it can become a blessing. And you need to get this. Because once I got this, it changed the way that I think about preparation. For a farmer who was not prepared, rain can be an inconvenience. For a person who has no use for the rain can be an inconvenience because you have to deal with the mud. And so you have two different plots next to each other. And when it starts raining, the one steps outside and celebrates, dances in the rain, while the other one sits in the house depressed because they have nothing in the ground and they were not prepared for rain. And so the rain is an inconvenience when it could have been a blessing. Very, very important to understand. So that is our second word. Our second word is preparation. What are you praying for? What are you hoping for, believing for? How prepared are you for it? When an opportunity arises, how prepared are you? And then our third word, and like I said, just try to keep up because I'm trying to get through these as quickly as possible. But the third word that I want to share with you in making sure that we generate and keep that momentum is persistence. Persistence. My friend, I'll tell you right now, it is very hard to keep on going, but it is much harder to start over. Let me say that again. It is very hard to keep on going, but it is much harder to start over. Don't put yourself in a position where you have to start over. Just recently I started running again. When I was in high school, I used to run, and shortly after high school, I used to run middle distance and long distance. I would go out for a 10 kilometer and I would run 32 minutes, 31 minutes, even touch 30 minutes on a 10 kilometer. And then just recently I started running again and I found myself struggling to run 10 kilometers in 50 minutes. It took me an hour and I was broken after the hour. And I just thought to myself, if you had kept going since that time, you would have been much further than you are right now, or at least you wouldn't be struggling as much as you are struggling right now. So it is much harder to start over than it is to keep on going. So no matter how painful it is to keep on going, what you want to do is you want to find it in yourself to keep on going. I learned this concept from a friend of mine when I used to run with him. He was a national champ, and he used to say to me, if ever you twist your ankle while you are running in cross country or you are running on rough terrain, he said, if you twist your ankle, just keep on going, because the worst thing that you can do is stop and get cold, and it would be so difficult for you to keep going after that. So you want to make sure that you keep on going, you keep on running, you keep pushing yourself, and when it's done, you can sit down and nurse yourself, because if you stop in the middle of it, it'll be much harder for you to start running again. So number 3 is persistence. And the reason why this persistence is so important, I want to share this idea with you. Now, I'll tell you now, what I learned is that winners for some reason don't get tired. Winners do not get tired. I have never seen a person who is in the lead just say they're tired. It is always the person at the back who finds an excuse. A person who is leading the race does not find an excuse. They don't hold their hamstring and try to come up with something because they understand they're in a lead. So when I talk about persistence, I'm talking about persistence even in the little actions every single day. So what I want to do every day is I want to wake up and I want to pay attention to the things that I am doing. I want to pay attention to how I'm going about my day. If I win my morning, then I know that I can win the middle of my day, and then I will win the end of my day. What does that look like? When I wake up in the morning, I will not be defeated by the alarm clock. First things first. Because once I'm defeated by the alarm clock, that momentum begins to take place, and then all of a sudden I'll be defeated by the next thing and the next thing, next thing. So I make sure that I win in the very first place against the alarm clock, and then I just keep on going after that, because it is much harder to give up when you are in the lead, when you are winning the day. And then the 4th P I want to share with you is passion. Passion. I've heard a lot of people say passion doesn't pay the bills and passion doesn't do this. It's just no. I want you to hear me on this. There is very little that you would not do for something that you care about. There is very little that you wouldn't do. There is nothing. There are no lengths to which you would not go. So understand that you need passion. You need that love in your heart for the thing that you do. It doesn't matter what it is. You should at least love the reason why you are doing it. And then the final word I want to give you, or rather this one is a phrase, finally, it is personal development. Nothing happens if you don't grow. Nothing grows if you don't grow. You will not, there is nothing in your life that will become anything other than what it is if you don't become something else, something better. So I want to encourage you, make sure that you are working on yourself. Make sure that you are the most important project that you are working on, because everything in your life, your relationships, your finances, your progress in every single aspect of your life hinges on your personal development. May God bless you, and thank you very much for listening.